Gerald Cotten is dead. The DNA confirmed it. The body is in the ground in Nova Scotia. And yet 76,000 people still don't have their money back. Over $1 billion. Gone, not hacked, not seized, not lost in a crash, just disappeared, along with the one man who knew the password. But here's the part nobody talks about. The wallets weren't locked. They were empty. Someone had moved the money out months before Gerald ever boarded that plane. Canada has no serious crypto exchange. Two men see the gap. Gerald Cotten and his partner Michael Petrine launch QuadrigaCX. Clean interface, simple promise. Your money is safe with us. People believe them. By 2017, QuadrigaCX was processing over $1 billion in transactions. Canada's largest crypto exchange. Gerald on stages, giving interviews, the charming face of the future of finance. He looked completely legitimate. Underneath, the whole thing was rotting. Here's what nobody knew. Gerald had created fake accounts on his own platform. Fictional users, fictional balances, millions in crypto that didn't exist. And he used those fake accounts to trade against real users. Real people, real money. Gerald on the other side playing with fiction. And the actual Bitcoin his customers had deposited? He was trading that too. On other exchanges, recklessly, desperately, losing, over and over. Every time the losses mounted, he covered them with new deposits. That's not a crypto exchange. That's a Ponzi scheme wearing a tech startup's face. And then December 2018 arrived, and Gerald did something that, in hindsight, looks very different depending on whether you think he knew he was about to die or not. Gerald and his wife Jennifer fly to India. Charitable trip, opening an orphanage. It fits the image perfectly. What doesn't fit? Before leaving, Gerald updated his will, signed new documents, left everything to Jennifer. The homes, the businesses, the assets. On December 9th, he falls ill in Jaipur. Complications from Crohn's disease, rushed to hospital. Within hours, dead, 30 years old. Jennifer flies the body back. He's buried in Nova Scotia. And then she makes the announcement that detonated a bomb inside the crypto world. Gerald was the only person with access to the cold wallets. No backup, no secondary key holder, no emergency protocol. One man, one password, gone. 250 million Canadian dollars, 76,000 people, nowhere to go. Ernst & Young begin the forensic investigation. They trace the blockchain. They find the cold wallets that supposedly held all the customer funds. The wallets are empty, not locked, not frozen, empty. The crypto had been moved out months before Gerald boarded that plane to India, transferred systematically, funneled into accounts on other exchanges, used to fund reckless, desperate trading. Loss after loss after loss. By the time Gerald died, QuadrigaCX had likely been insolvent for over a year. The lost password story was never about locked funds. There was nothing left to unlock. And then investigators looked at Gerald's personal finances, and what they found made everything much, much darker. Private planes, luxury properties across Canada, a Cessna aircraft, a $65,000 motorhome, a yacht. He named it the Infinity. All of it bought while his customers were waiting months for their withdrawals. While real people were being told to be patient, to trust the process, Gerald Cotten was on a yacht called Infinity. And in the weeks before his death, while updating his will, he had transferred millions in assets to Jennifer Robertson. A man putting his affairs in order? Or a man preparing to disappear? Think about what Gerald had that almost no financial criminal in history has ever had. Private keys to wallets worth hundreds of millions, stored nowhere but his own memory. No bank holds them, no government, no institution, just him. In the traditional financial world, you can't vanish. Your money is tied to banks, your identity to government systems. But in crypto, the right private keys, a new identity, a country that doesn't ask questions, and you simply cease to exist. Gerald died in Rajasthan, a state with documented issues around document fraud. The death certificate came from a local hospital. No independent verification by Canadian authorities. No autopsy. The body returned and was buried with startling speed. And then investigators discovered that Michael Patron, Gerald's co-founder, was not who he said he was. His real name was Omar Danani, convicted in the United States for identity fraud, served time, entered Canada. Changed his name, his history, his entire past, and co-founded what became Canada's largest crypto exchange. Gerald Cotten's business partner was a convicted fraudster with a fake identity, and nobody knew. They ordered Gerald Cotten's body exhumed. Read that again. A court ordered a dead man dug up, because enough people genuinely doubted he was in the coffin. The forensic team went in. DNA was tested against dental records. He was there. Gerald Cotten was in the grave. And that answer, the one that was supposed to close the door, didn't close anything. Because the money was still gone. The victims still had nothing, and the blockchain trail still had gaps nobody had fully explained. The Ontario Securities Commission delivered their final report. Their conclusion: Gerald Cotten ran QuadrigaCX as a fraud from its very foundation. Fabricated balances, lost customer funds through reckless trading, ran new deposits to cover old withdrawals. Jennifer Robertson returned roughly $12 million in assets, without admitting wrongdoing. Michael Patron denied everything, resurfaced quietly in new crypto ventures. Zero criminal charges, zero prosecutions, zero accountability. 76,000 victims, hundreds of millions missing, and no one in a courtroom. The deepest irony in this entire story? Cryptocurrency was invented to remove the need for trust. No banks, no middlemen, no single point of failure. The whole system was designed so you never had to rely on one person. And then 76,000 people handed everything to one man. One exchange, one password. Tonight, there are people who will go to sleep still waiting for answers. A retired teacher who thought it was safe. A young investor who thought he'd finally got it right. Families who lost what took decades to build. The body is in the ground. The DNA confirmed it. But the blockchain? The blockchain remembers everything. Every transaction, every address, every movement of money. And somewhere in those records, in the gaps between what we can prove and what we can only follow, the money is still there, waiting. Now, here's the question I want you to sit with. If the system was designed so you'd never have to trust anyone, why did 76,000 people trust one man with everything? And more importantly, would you have done the same?